stuck in my room, thinking how much more can I take? Well, I don't think I can take too much more of it. Before I go out in the street and start unloading my clip, with the way things are going, I'ma probably end up insane. With this voice in my head, saying you blow out your brain. The loaded guns in my hand, and I go turn off the light. Then I lay down in my bed, it's time I call it a night. Why am I doing this? I can't seem to figure that out. Now my girl is trying to call me, but the gun's inside of my mouth. So I pick up the phone to hear what she got to say. She said, baby, what's wrong? Is everything okay? I said, everything is cool, as a tear roll down my face. And then I hang up the phone as my heart begins to race. It's time I put an end to these thoughts in my head. All I gotta do is pull this trigger, and then I'm dead. So I text my girl just to tell her my plan. And if she calls me back, then that might save me, man. 5 minutes pass, I guess.
When you love someone, it's natural, not demanding. And that's one thing I'm proud to say I found in you. I'm so glad we reached an understanding. Now I know my heart is safe with you. Ooh. So now my love to you, baby, I surrender. Get ready tonight. Gonna make this a night to remember. Get ready, oh baby, tonight. Gonna make this a night to remember.
And of course, you are listening to TVOSJ. It is no longer KXVS 92.1 FM, but it is the voice of San Joaquin, which the letters are TVOSJ.org. And now it is time for Divine Numerology.
Hello, how are you guys today? Welcome back. We have another awesome show of Divine Numerology. And today we're talking about sacred numbers, repeating numbers, and anything that people have questions about, because a lot of interesting things have been taking place in the world around us and repeating through patterns and synchronicities that people experience throughout their lives. So when we take a look at those things, then it helps us to really understand what's going on around us. So that's why I have Betty in the room with us.
Hello there.
And she's going to be helping with, just kind of asking some questions that might be on people's minds that may not be present. Also, I'm about to go live on my Facebook stream on my private back page, and I just went live. So if you guys want to ask me a question in real time, you guys can go onto my private page and you'll be able to ask any type of question you want related to numerology or even astrology too. So one of the things I'm going to talk about today is the number of the day, and what the number of the day is related to the things that we experience. I want to give a shout out to everyone whose birthday is today. And I want to tell you, yes, happy birthday. And that today is the 15th. So since today's the 15th, it corresponds with the numbers 1, 5, and 6. And with the number 15, you have the energies of 1, which is independence, confidence, creativity, doing things your own way, doing things in a way that's unique, carrying your own signature style. What is unique to you in particular as a person? This energy frequency, it reminds us to look inside, to go within, because we do get a lot of input from the outside. But when we are singularly focused singular being one, then it helps us to go in a direction effectively. Then the number 5, which is freedom, motion, it's about travel, it's about doing things with your own choice, as opposed to things being done imposed on you. So in that way, the 1 and the 5 actually complement each other, and that's one of the reasons why they're so compatible. The 1 is ruled by the sun, and then the number 5 is ruled by the planet Mercury. And even in Vedic astrology, when you have the planet Mercury combined with the sun, it creates a certain relationship. It creates a particular type of intelligence, because wherever the sun is placed, in this case the 1 being next to 15, wherever the sun is placed, it amplifies and makes the thing that's next to it show up even stronger. So the sun would highlight the qualities of Mercury, the planet. The planet Mercury has the qualities of communication. It rules media, it rules sales, it rules speculative gains, it rules intellect and the mind. So with the 1 and 5 combination, this is normal. This is very natural when as far as the outcome of it. People born on the 15th are actually known to have these particular traits. It really highlights the intellect of Mercury and brings out the solar quality of the number 1. And then these two, when they're put together, 1 and 5, they create the number 6. And I have a friend that really resonates with the number 6 as well and I work with a few people that are actually born on the 15th. And so I noticed these particular traits in them as well. And the way that it shows up, the way that the 6 shows from this 1 and 5 combination is that the 6, it's love, harmony, and balance. It's about community. It's about nurturing. It's the desire to show nurturing affection to those that we're close with, to those that we feel are like family, whether they're blood or whether they're workmates or whether they're just people that we come in contact with on a regular basis. Those are some of the characteristics of the number 6. And then as it relates to things being done with the hands, because 6 is a number that is very creative. The 1 is amplifying the creativity of the number 6. And then the 6 in itself is ruled by the planet Venus. So we have Venus, which is love, it's relationships, it represents the creation of that which comes from the union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And it carrying that particular energy overall for this particular day. You may notice these traits stand out to you today, these characteristics, especially if you were born on the 6th, 15th, or the 24th, or in the month of June, or if you're a life path 6. Now, another way that you'll notice this too is if your name equals 15, or if your name equals 6 or equals 24. There's a certain way you can actually find out what your name equals. If you want to know, just message me after the show or during the show, and we can touch base with that. We're actually getting a lot more people on the backside of the show. So for those of you that are listening to the station, feel free to come on to Darius Oliver on the Facebook, and you'll actually be able to see the behind the scenes part that everyone else is seeing right now. But aside from that, that's the energy of today. And the number 15 corresponds with the 15th card in the tarot. And that kind of scares people because a lot of people don't understand the symbolism behind it or the origins behind this particular card. and it reinforces certain fears that people have and preconceived ideas. The number 15 corresponds to a card that right now, before sharing it, it's related to a deity named Pan. And this deity, Pan, really emphasizes the indulgence in the carnal nature and enjoyment in the physical body. The full express joy with all things of the 3D realm, of that which is just here and now. And the philosophy of it is all that you see is all that there is, because the emphasis is only on what you see, feel, sense, touch with the 5 senses. Later on, this particular card that was known as Pan, because of that association with the material world, the church known as the Catholic Church, when they became very strong, influenced the interpretation of that card and coined it as the devil because of its not acknowledging the spiritual aspect of things. So in the tarot that we have today, this is the actual image of the card because it's really highlighting that aspect. It's saying that this particular card is only related to the physical realm. And so when people see that card, it's very easy for them to say, oh my God, look at that card. But that's the point. That's the whole point, is that it shows a characteristic of duality. It highlights duality in the sense that if you look at the card, it shows 2 people underneath the figure in the middle that have a chain wrapped around their neck. And the chain is not tight, it's loose, which be in a prison that they can easily remove themselves from. That's why the card can often be associated with people who are experiencing addiction, something that may be challenging mentally for them to experience, and challenging to break free from. But if they do it, they can completely. Of course, some people will need help in doing that. But those are some of the qualities of the 15. There's the positive aspect and then the lower aspect, as everything has a positive and a lower polarity. I was wondering, Betty, if you had any questions while you're over there doing the equipment. Or if
You
wanted
know
to
what?
throw in
I'm
something.
listening to you, and it's always educational. It's always something that you may bring up, and of course, it captures you because you're wondering, "Wow, never knew that." Information that you give out about the numbers, very interesting, and I know the community is learning, and I think you do a great job putting out your info. Definitely, that's something that I've been watching and listening, and like I said, it's always educational. So continue, unless you have some questions for me. I was just telling you earlier that there's a lot of negativity out there, and I feel it, and I see it, and I feel for the people that are so negative, that are haters. And I told you, the one thing that I do, and I'm glad that I do this, is pray for them, because you have to think about it. When was the last time that somebody prayed for them?
Right.
You don't know whether they ever had anybody pray over them.
Yes.
So you don't know their background. You don't know what they've been through. You do not know exactly what it is that they're experiencing at the time that they are hating on people. And so I say to you haters, know that we love you. Know that there's people out there that care enough and say, you know what? Instead of me lashing out, instead of me saying where you can go, no. I'm going to say I love you, and I'm going to say I'm going to pray for you, because I believe in that, and I believe that you can be saved.
Peace by that.
Yeah.
Peace by that.
Woo!
Peace by that. Thank you for
You're
that.
very welcome.
So we got somebody wanted to mention their birthday today. And it's March 7th. March 7th. So happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday.
And thank you for sharing, the person who just shared. Love it, like it, and share it, people, please. This is awesome. Good stuff that should get out to everybody, right? So we have Kathy Hendel, March 7th. 1968. The number 7 corresponds with the card known as the Chariot. And the Chariot is known as the Victory. It's known as the Victory card. And it's also highlighting the aspect of duality. This is actually what it looks like. And you'll notice that this particular card has the aspect of duality as well, because it shows beneath the person in the middle the white and the black, the Sphinx. So it draws the attention to the Sphinx, the mysteries of the Sphinx. In between is the angel's wings, which were the sign of the victory of this conquest. So this person in this picture, this is number 7, being led by the mysteries of the Sphinx, the ancient secrets. And so this is part of the qualities. Yes, 7 represents that victory, but it also represents the piercing of the veil and going into the mysteries. And they actually did a lot of research about the Sphinx lately, and a lot of information is coming out about it. And the Sphinx, if you look at the collection of material, its information is known as the Emerald Tablets by Thoth. In the Emerald Tablets, he says that he was the one who actually built the pyramids. And he elaborates on how these things were done in the Emerald Tablets. He speaks of the entire process, and not just that, but he speaks of certain things under the Sphinx. He says underneath the paw of the Sphinx is where he left a ship. He actually placed a ship under the Sphinx that exists in our time now. And so they got this from the Emerald Tablets. And if you don't know about the Emerald Tablets, just type it up on YouTube. There's tons of information about it. There's books on it. You can buy a translation of it by Isaac Newton. He made a translation of it. But it's by Thoth the Atlantean. They did some research in Egypt under the Sphinx to see what they would find, and they really did find something there. They found that there's a cavity deep below the Sphinx, underneath it. Large, and it's a large cavity, and it's something that could actually hold a giant ship. And then this document, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, were actually describing and explaining this ship. And it said the person who understands how to use this ship, or the people that understand how to use this ship, would be given certain victory. So that's a little side note that came about from the Sphinx that you have just seen from this person whose day is March 7th. And it gives you the life path. Let's see, March 7th, that's 10/26. That is, let's see, 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 6 is 26, plus 8 is 34. So that would give you a life path 7 and a day 7. Very interesting combination. Life path 7 and a day 7. 7 is introspection, study, analysis. It is the mind. 7 is all about the mind and developing the intellect. It's about the 7 chakras. 7 is one of the universal numbers. All the numbers are universal, but 7 is a strong number that resonates spiritually. And also, for you, Kathy, maybe people have said this to you, but you actually have the life path of the author. So perhaps writing a book, or starting a book, or finishing that book that you have started, whichever one of these applies to you, would be a good idea. Because that's the author's number. This is the number 34. When we add up your entire birthday, we get the number 34. People like J.K. Rowling, Stephen King, and great authors who've written many books. And not just books, but bloggers, people that have ideas to be published. This is a number of authorship. So I'll share that. That's what I'll share for you, Kathy. Our next person that we got is, let's see. We have a birthday of March 16th. So we have Haley. What's up, Haley? And she posted the comment of someone born March 16th. That number 16 corresponds with it also 1 plus 6 equals 7. Coincidentally, that's interesting because, you know, a person that just commented right before you commented that same exact number pattern. In fact, when you add the 3 and the 7 and the 1988, that 3, 16, and 1988, that gives you the same exact life path as the person that I just spoke about, but just a different level of it, different octave of it, right? So we have 16 plus 3 is 19, plus 10 is 29, plus 8 is 37, 40, let's see, 26. See, yep, I'm doing my fingers too. So 26 plus 3 is 29, 39 plus 6 is 35 or 34. Let's see. So those of you guys that are listening, you guys are doing my little timer. I'm going to pull out my paper real quick so I can write something down. So I'm just adding this up, 6, 9, and then 15. Awesome. So this is actually not a life path 7. This is a life path 8. And the life path 8 is, okay, I see where I got that. Okay. So the life path 8 would be the abundance and power. It's also control, dominion, but it's a number that's very social. It's about social status and social power. It's a number that is really important for this individual to pay attention to how money is used. Money is a very important force in that person's life, especially if they identify with money as an aspect of power. Whatever this person relates to or sees as a source of power, it's important for them to connect to it or balance it, the role that has in their life. Someone said, great age for president. Let's see. Okay. So that's what that birthday is. And then Tiana Kessner asks, is August 9th, 1993, is he the one? Let's see. Ooh, interesting. All right, so just some cards that I got from that. Ace of Cups, I mean, definitely, you know, potential, but let's see. 8, 9, and 1993. That's 12, and then 22, 39. So this person is a 3 life path. 3 is expression and sensitivity. And 3 corresponds to the planet Jupiter. So this person that is having this life path 3 is definitely someone who can be very expressive, very communicative. 3 really, its lesson is to learn how to effectively communicate with other people. And then being born on the 9th makes this an individual who cares about others, very universal in their approach to people in general, wanting everything to be fair, wanting everything to be balanced for everyone. And may see themselves as someone who has more of an evolved mindset than others, because many times 9 is it's a higher vibration. It elevates people to the next level of what they can be, when you're associated with it. And that's one of the qualities that when the 9 feels it expressed toward themselves, people start to draw toward them and try to get elevated. And it may feel like no one else gets it, which can be frustrating to them at times. But with the 3 and the 9 as a number pattern for them, this is a really good combination. This 9 is a really good leadership number because 9 represents wisdom and integrity. But it's important also to balance that natural authority with that the person holds so that it doesn't become overly dominant. The 3 in and of itself is also a number that is very compatible with the 9. So this life path and this day are very compatible together. So let us see. We got more people that are commenting. So Mike asks, so he wants a present reading. So you're born on the 22nd. I think I spoke to you before a while back. I did actually. And I'm glad to see you're back on. The 22 is the master builder. And it also corresponds to the Fool in the tarot in the sense that the Fool has already come full round circle from the beginning of his journey to the end. The Fool is the card number 0 in the tarot, but he's also the 22nd card as well. Because once represents once he has gone past and learned all the lessons, then everything repeats and starts over again. But at another higher level, you see. And so 22 also represents that which stacks and builds and magnifies on top of each other. 22 is the master builder in that it is a crafter of civilization as a number. The difference, what's 2 plus 2? It's 4. 4 is structure. It's about building. It's about creating. It's about form, material, substance. When we have this 4 elevated by the number 22, it takes it up to that higher level of where it's not just about building a house with a brick. It's about building a mansion with a brick. And it's not just building a house, it's about building a city. It's not just building a city, it's about building a country. It's not just building a country, it's about building a planet. It's not just building a planet, it's about building a solar system. Not just a solar system, but a galaxy. So that frame of thought, that kind of thinking is what the 22 carries with it. It takes this and takes it up here. That's what 22 is all about from that perspective.
Interesting.
I'm very curious. What about that do you find interesting, Betty?
I find it all interesting. All of it. Even when you took it to outer space.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially that part.
Yes, because when it goes to outer space, it's not just, you realize that it's a planet, solar system, galaxy, universe, multiple universes.
Amongst, yes, a mass.
Then you're talking about literally the physical realm itself in contrast to the other dimensions that exist side by side one another, all simultaneously in the different timelines that all coincide. Everything that exists all at once. The 22. Now, the 22 plus 2, that's 24, plus 10 is 34, 42, 47. Life path 11. So, Mike, I'm going to double check that, make sure I got that right, added that correctly. 85, that's 23. Yes, that is 47. So not only, Mike, do you have a life, not only are you born on a day that's 22 but and having a master number as a birthday, but you're also having an 11 life path, which is the master intuitive or the master illuminator, right? Now, as I'm saying this, these things sound like so lofty and amazing, like, oh, wow, I'm the master builder. And it's great, right? It's great, but it's showing really the potentials here. It's showing the potentials of things that can be. And so, that being the case, with all these unlimited potentials, it's related to the master illuminator, right? This person that shines, because we have the number one. Number one doubled. Number one doubled. When you have that, you have two suns that are sitting right next to each other, because the sun is represented by the number one. And this is something that's very powerful when you look at that. We have the 11 and the 22 coincide, which gives you a very eventful life, a very eventful things happening in your life that take place. And for you to be able to tune in and tap into these energies, and to also remember that you have everything that you need with you right now, even though something, may have gone its place from you, or, you may have had some part of kind of a loss of some kind, that all you have to do is shift your perspective to see that you still have all that it is that you need, and to look on the positive aspects of things. Let's see. And so that right there is a little bit of some of the master number vibrations. When we have the 11, a lot of you guys have seen 1111 and asked this very often, what is the meaning of these numbers? When you see these repeating number sequences like 11, 22, 22, 11, and 11 and 11, such like that, this is giving you clarification, validation, that where you are at that moment is where you need to be. And then also you have invisible guides that have your back, and they're wanting you to become aware of that in that moment. And when you see that, it's important to make sure that what you're thinking is something that is in harmony with what you desire. If it's not, then the 1111 is sharing with you that this is what you're attracting to yourself. If it is, then keep on that frame of thought, and then expand it to acquire more of it. It's an activation number. And when you acknowledge the 1111, then you start to see more synchronicities happen in your life. You start to observe other interesting phenomenon in your life that just lines things up, to the point where life becomes very surreal in feeling. When you start to see 1111, you may start to notice you have interesting dreams, really interesting dreams that seem very real, very lucid. And a lot of you are experiencing this right now and probably wondering what the meanings of some of your dreams are. And that's why it's highly recommended to record the dreams. In fact, there was a child. Well, he's not a child anymore, but when he was a child, his parents, one of the things that they trained him to do ever since he was young was to write down his dreams, even the scary ones, because he kept having nightmares. And they got him to write his dreams down in a little journal. And they ingrained that habit into him. And they ingrained that habit so much so that he kept on doing that throughout his life, and it became something very important to him. But by the time that he was 25, he had so much knowledge about himself, an understanding about who he was as a person. And he just was very sure about himself, because whether or not his parents knew what they were doing, they were really giving him by having him do that, he was giving himself all the answers that he would eventually ask. He was giving himself all the answers to the questions he would eventually ask when he was older. Because the questions that he asked were answered when he was 5, 6, 7, and 8 in his dreams. And the events that he wrote down that he would see, the things that he would dream as a child were almost prophesied. Things happen, and he would notice, and so much deja vu just was clarified that he really just had this elevated way of looking at the world and experiencing reality. And you know, that is the power of writing down dreams and recording them. And that practice, a lot more parents are actually encouraging their children to write down their dreams, even the good dreams, especially the good dreams. But writing down their dreams every time that they wake up. And what happened, you know, like a dream journal type deal. And when they wake up, it just, when they grow up and get older, it just gives so much years of insight. Just they exist in another reality, in a sense. They exist physically here, but their consciousness is just above. It's insane. But that is our show for today, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is Darius with Divine Numerology. You all have an awesome day. Enjoy the rest of your day this 15th of March. And peace.
You're listening to KXVS 92.1 FM, The Voice of Stockton. Noticias y algo más, El Profe Cortés, Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 to 6 p.m. for exclusive Spanish news. Sin filtre.
This is a production for the voice of San Joaquin.
Porque nos vamos a enlazar
Con el mero, el gallo de Zacatecas.
That's right, homeboy.
el de por allá.
You got it, homeboy. Island boy.
Dicen que soy poderoso, yo solo soy su amigo. No hace falta averiguar, saben a qué me dedico.